Okay, I hope everyone is back. Okay. Now, before getting into Git, let's just understand the difference between Git and GitHub. Okay. Now, Git is the technology version control system. Okay. And GitHub is actually a sort of a storage system which is implementing Git. Okay, it's like this. So you have UPI, right? You have UPI, which is a technology, right? And then you have Google Pay, you have Phone Pay, and all that thing which uses UPI to sell their product, right? So similar way, you have Git and then people use Git and they created software. So we have like GitHub, right? So basically what happens, the code and everything which you put, that you keep it in the GitHub. You have something called Bitbucket, right? So internally they all are using Git. Okay, so all what you need is understanding of Git, and these, by using Git, they created GitHub and Bitbucket. Clear? So Git is a technology, a version control system, and by using Git, okay, they have created GitHub and Bitbucket. What GitHub and Bitbucket has extra is they are also keeping the centralized system along with it, right? Because you need one central systems. When I say centralized, it's not that centralized which I was talking about, but again, you need a place where you would be keeping, it's kind of a cloud storage. You can consider this is kind of a storage where you're keeping your code, your files, and everything. Okay, anybody has any doubt? Anyone? No? Okay, cool. Fine. Now what we're going to be doing, right? We'll be installing Git. Okay. Repeat. Okay. So Pushkar, what I was saying, that take an example. See UPI. So you know what is UPI, correct? That you take through Paytm, through other things. You can work, right? You can pay the money. So UPI is a technology, right, through which you can do the payment and everything, which is Bheem UPI. But by using UPI, people created different things. They created Phone Pay. So Phone Pay internally uses UPI. You have Google Pay, that also uses the same thing, right? You have, say, Amazon Pay. I think Amazon Pay internally, not sure, but yeah, something like this happens, right? Something like this happened with the Git. So Git is a version control system through which Git essentially provides you all this feature of doing, moving the changes, having the traceability. What is a traceability? Who did changes when and all that stuff. All that is Git is providing. By using those features, people have created something called GitHub. Okay, they have created something called a Bitbucket and all that thing. Clear? Pushkar answer. Okay, cool. Now we will actually install Git. And anybody has any doubt on this particular topic can just stop me. Okay. Okay. Now let's say how do we work with Git. So first thing, now I want everyone to do this thing in their system. First thing what we're gonna be doing is first thing which we'll be gonna be doing is we will be saying Git download, just search that, and you should have this Git download thing. I'll just ping this thing on the chat. Just a minute. Okay, so this is something you can open. You can select Windows or whatever operating system you have. Like, let's do it on the Windows because I guess majority of people have Windows. So we open the Windows. Then I'm using this 64-bit Git for Windows setup. Click on it. This will download something. Okay. Then I open this file, this bit file, like whatever this file which is being downloaded. Open that. Sorry. So this thing will come up. Install. You have to click install. I want everyone to do this because when we'll be doing the practical, you guys should be able to do it by yourself as well. So again, Piyush, alternative for Git, there was like TFS and SVN, like those are also version control system, but most of the companies do not use it. Okay, they use Git, and then Some companies use GitHub. See, Git is every company is using, and then they also use, they can, somebody can use GitHub, okay, and somebody can use Bitbucket. So it depends, but you all need to understand Git. If you're able to understand Git and GitHub, you can work with most of the ones, so you will not have any problem. Okay. Okay, so once you do this, you can just click finish. So everything is done. Whatever this has come up, you can close it, not required. Okay. Now you'll see something different must have happened in your system. Like, just open a new folder in your systems anywhere and just right click. Right click, show more options. You will see these two things coming up. Git bash here, git bash, and git GUI. Can you see these things? Can you guys confirm me? Yes, Mantu. Mantu, Git and GitHub are different, right? What I said, for example, Git is a technology. Okay, by using Git technology, what GitHub did, GitHub internally uses Git technology to create a repository system where people can put their changes. Nimai, I cannot. What can I say? I mean, that is how it is. Okay, so once you have done, so that is Ashutosh, I'm telling that, right? So once you have done the installation, I just want you to just confirm me that you guys are having these two options. Then I will tell you more stuff about it, right? So one thing, so we have done the installation and we should be able to see these two, Git GUI here, Git bash here. Okay, if you're not able to see, like, or just simply search in your system, you should have Git. So if you should be having Git bash, if you have Git bash, we are good. Okay, now what we're going to be doing, we'll create a GitHub account, github.com. Github.com. Can you see this? Github.com. Open this system. In your system, open this website. Okay. And if you already have an account, sign in. If you do not have account, sign up. Sign up. Okay. Enter your email ID. Whatever is your email ID, continue. Sign up process is super simple. You can use that. I'm directly doing a sign in. So because I already have an account, I'm gonna sign in. ठीक है? I hope everyone is clear till here. Okay. Uh, Anyone is facing issues with the Git right now, or having issues like they do not have Git in their system? Git. Me. So Adish, what is the problem? So once Git is downloaded, you have to install it. Ashish. Once it is downloaded, that software, if whatever that exe which has been downloaded, you have to double click on it and install it. Done? Okay. Now see what I'm going to be doing now. Okay. In my computer, so Git is installed. So forget GitHub for a minute. Let's just forget GitHub for a minute. And we have this files. I'll just delete these files. Okay. Right now, consider this is the place. This is the place where I would like to create a repository. Now, what is a repository? Repository is nothing but a place where you put multiple files and folders, right? So basically, say suppose if you are working on something, so you want everything to be in one place. Consider if you went to, say, Jaipur, you went to some place for travel. What you usually do, you create a folder and keep all the things related to Jaipur or some other place in that particular folder, all the images and everything. That can be considered as a repository. So repository is essentially something which is having all the things related to one thing in one place, right? So for example, say I have one repository, so I'm creating a new project thing, right? I'm having a project. I'll just call this thing as my project one. project one. So consider I have something called a project one. Okay, this is my folder here, project one. Okay. Now what I will do, let's say I have a file within this. I'll just create a new file. Okay. I'll just call it as what? Uh, mm, project details. I'll just call it as a project details.txt. Okay, so I have project details.txt. See, now what I'm going to be doing, I will now two things you could do. So you can also use your, so once you have installed your git, right, you can access your git from your command prompt also. So you remember command prompt which we talked about, CLI. So if you see, if I type git here, it is able to, it is giving me all those options. So it works this way also. Or what you could do, you can just open git bash. You can open git. So whatever the commands which I'll be writing now, all those commands can be used in your command prompt also. Or you can open the git bash. So if you see, git bash will look like this. Okay, I will just I will increase the font of it. Let me see if I can increase that size somewhere. Text and font properties. Hmm. So this is how it is coming now. Okay, apply and save. Okay, so this is how it is. Now what I'm going to be doing, you remember we use cd command to get inside a folder. So I'll just copy this path, whatever this path is. Just click here. I will copy this path, go to my git bash and just say cd to this folder. I'm going inside that particular folder. Oh, sorry. Now because there is a space, what I need to do, I need to use double quotes. Okay, double quotes. Cd too many argument error is coming, right? Because new folder has a space. So cd this. So I am inside. Where can you see this? If I do pwd, see users nearest desktop, new folder, project one, inside project one. Okay, so I just went. So Ashutosh, I just this I did only this. Nee, repeat what Bhupinder. Can you just tell me specific parts here? Like what git bash thing? Acha. Close. Nothing I did. I just open C search. Git bash is there. Open it. This is open, right? Now I want to go to this folder where my project is. I will just come here, copy the file path, come here, do cd in double quotes. I will put that file name, the path which I have, okay, and just get inside that. So I am inside desktop new folder project one. The same thing, Ashutosh, whatever I'm doing here, this git thing, right? The same thing you can do in command prompt also. Okay. So why we did this? Because we want git. So what git does, git will basically monitor what all things you are doing, right? It is a version control system. It will be maintaining the version and everything. So so we will be configuring it. Basically we need to put all that stuff here, right? We want everything will be happening here, correct? We want everything will be happening, like everything should happen here within this. So that's why we are doing. Okay, now what we will do, we will write a command called git init. Git init means initialize. I'm initializing a repository in git. See, as of now, git does not know about this project one. It does not know about project one folder. It has no clue about it. So what I did, I said git init, that initialize git, initialize this. Okay, now see, the moment I'll do this git init, something will happen. Okay, it says git initialized empty git repository. That means it initialized a repository in this particular folder. And now if you see, something came up here, dot git, dot git. Can you see this? Yes. So now what is happening, git will be able to see this thing. Okay, git will be able to see this thing. Now we have a file, okay, but we haven't moved but we have not moved that file. Okay, what is what is the confusion, Nikhil? Nee, nee. Problem. You can even write in Hindi like what is the problem which you're thinking like. Acha, whole Git bash thing you are getting a problem. Okay, forget about it. Okay, just close everything. Close everything. Whatever I created, delete this. If you are having a doubt, let's use a different route. Okay, let's go back to GitHub. Everyone, do you have a GitHub account? Can I get a thumbs up? GitHub account hai? Yes. Okay. So Ashutosh, create the GitHub account na. Anurag is saying his screen is stuck. GitHub website, he's not accepting my name as username and it is stuck. So maybe, I don't know, Anurag, it might be your connectivity issue or something like that. Try again. Try with a different username. Try with something else. Because it's just a normal process of creating a account. That's it. Nothing different is there. Okay. So once I have an account with me, see, Anurag, maybe what you can do, right? Maybe if you are facing the issue right now, for time being, just do not do anything. Focus on what I'm doing here, okay? And maybe after the session, you try to create the account. You should be able to create that. If at all you are not able to do that, you can ping me in the next session. You can tell me in the next session, and then we can do it. Otherwise, what will happen, right? See, practically, it is not possible that I will just wait for you guys to create the account, because creating an account is super simple, but maybe you might be facing some issue, so that is something you can do later on also. And if at all you are getting stuck, that is something you can ask me in the next session. Ki, sir, I was having this issue and this did not work for me. So that's something we can do. Make sense? Because recording is there, you can see the recording. Clear, Anurag? Agree? Right? Okay. So you see, I have GitHub. So I once I logged into the GitHub. This is my GitHub account. Okay, now what I want to do in my GitHub, I would like to create a new repository. Okay, I'll just click on new. Okay. Then it is asking me, what is the repository name you would like to give? What is the repository name you would like to give? So I'll just call it as my project one. So this is my project one. Okay, and then there is a description and all these things, and then there is this public. I would like to have it public. Private means only I can see, public means other people can see, so I'll just keep it as public. Okay, then it is also asking a lot of other options are there. I will just ignore other options. So it says add a readme file. I'll just say okay. Okay, and then I'll just say create repository. Can you see here, create repository? If I do that, what has happened in github, obviously GitHub is something which is, you are accessing somebody else's system here, right? GitHub is something somebody has provided you, right? So in your GitHub, so what has happened, a new repository has created project one within your account. Okay, and you see the name of the project is project one. The repository name is project one, and it has a branch. You see here, it has a branch. Can you see branches? The first branch is called the main branch. The first branch is called the main branch. Can you see that? Main is the branch, and I have only one branch, and it is a default branch. Main branch, it is a default branch. Clear? Okay, now what we want to do is, we want to get this in our local system. Okay, now obviously this is something which is created in the internet somewhere. Now what we need to do, click. Now see, this is somewhere, okay, in the GitHub. I want to take this thing by using Git is a software which I have already installed in my system. Okay, now what I will do, come here, click on the search, click on git bash, or just write git bash. Git bash, open the application. You see the git bash application has opened. Okay, now what I need to do, in order, see how the Git will know what is the email and what is the username and all that information, like whatever this information you have, what is the email ID it has to use, where the data and everything is. right? It does not know about it. So we have to configure the Git for it. We have to configure the Git. So we have a Git software which we have installed. Now we have to configure that Git. So how do we do that? We will use a command called git config hyphen hyphen global space user dot name. Now, what is this username? This is the name which Git will show that this guy made the changes. For example, if you move your changes to the GitHub, it will tell this is the person who made the changes. So the name I would like to give is say Neeraj. Okay, and enter. Okay, then I'll say git config hyphen hyphen global user dot email. I mean, who is this user's email? What is the user email ID? What is the user email ID? My email ID here is neeraj.sharma2592 at the rate gmail.com. Okay, and enter. So all these information are being kept. I'll just ping you these commands when you have to put it. Okay, these are two separate commands. Can you guys do this? And once you do this, right, I can confirm also. I can use git config hyphen hyphen get user dot email, and you see it is showing me that information. That means my information is being saved. Harsh, you can, but don't follow me there because I usually don't put much on this GitHub account. If you want to, I mean, there's nothing much I put there actually. Okay, I hope everyone is able to do this. Everyone. Now see, what has happened is this is the repository, that means project one, which is currently having a file called readme. It is somewhere, right? It is with the GitHub. In order to make changes to this repository, I first need to get this to my computer system. Within my local computer, I need to get it, correct? For that, what do? We do a process called clone. We want to clone the repository. In Git, we say we want to clone the repository. Okay, for that, what I'll be doing, if you see here, I'll click on it. See here, slide code, and here is the URL. I'll just copy this URL. Copied. After that, wherever I would like to open this, consider I am gonna do this thing within new folder. Okay, let's say pwd here. Right now I'm inside Neeraj. I don't want to go inside Neeraj. Instead, I would like to go inside this folder, new folder, whatever is, right? I'll say cd, go inside that folder. Okay, sorry, cd double quotes, put that thing here. So right now, if I do pwd, I'm inside new folder. Okay, now within new folder, what I want to do is I would like to get this repository which is there in the GitHub. I want to get that thing in my local system. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just right click, I'll click here on the code. Here is the URL. Can you see this URL? Right? What I'll do, I'll copy this URL, copy, and then I'll come back to the git bash. And then what I will do, I'll say git clone. So git clone is the command, and whatever that URL is, and I will do enter. Now what is happening? It says cloning into this project one remote from your remote system. It got some things. Okay, now let's see in that folder where we had, right, we had new folder. See, within new folder, automatically this project one folder got created. I did not create it. So what happened? Git basically took that data from the remote repository and put it here. Can you see? This has that readme md file, right? Readme.md. And you can see even here we have that readme md. Clear, everyone? Right? Okay. Now, say I would like to make some changes. Okay. Now there are certain git command which we use. So whenever we work with git, right, we use a lot of commands, and for that we use our command line interface. In this particular case, it is the git bash. You can also use command line interface, which was what, your command prompt. You can use that also. Okay. In fact, what are we going to be doing now is, you remember, we okay, so maybe id, right? We told about the id, that id can help us in doing a lot of things. Id can help us in doing this git thing also. Okay, we will talk about it in just a few minutes. Okay, now say, here is the file. Now what I want to do is, I would like to add a new file. I would like to add a new file. Now, I don't want to add the new file. I do not want to add the new file in the main branch. You remember we used to create a new branch, make changes to it, correct? And then we used to merge the both the branches, correct? That is what we used to do. Now you see, now you will see the difference between a decentralized system and a centralized system. In a centralized system, if I need to create a branch, in a centralized system, if I need to create a branch like a SVN and a TFS, I had to create branches from the main centralized system. I have to request the main centralized system to first create the branch. Here, that is not the case. Here, I can create the branch by myself. For that, what I need to do is, I will just say git check out, git check out. Check out means hota hai that I am checking the things. Whatever the things you currently have here, current folder say I am in new folder, right? This is the new folder. Sorry, I have to also do a cd. I have to get inside this project one. So I have to go inside the project one. Okay, one more thing I would like to show you. One minute. See, when I'm inside this new folder, right? When I'm inside new folder, if I say something called git status. So git status is a command which gives us the status. What is the current status of the git repository? And if I do this, see what is telling me? Not a git repository. So it is telling me that this new folder is not a git repository, because what is a git repository here? Project one is actually the git repository, correct? So if I come inside cd project one, and here if I do git status, see what it says. It is telling me on which branch I'm currently. You remember the branch which I took was the main branch. It is telling me that I am on the main branch. It says your branch is up to date with the origin slash main. Now, what is origin slash main? Sorry, origin slash main. So, origin slash main is the remote repository from which we took it. So, it is saying whatever you have in your local system and whatever you have in your origin system, both are same right now. Both are same right now. And it says nothing to commit, work tree clean. It says there is nothing which we need to put, okay, and your work tree is clean. Why they call it as a work tree? Because you remember we talk about branches and all that, so it's kind of make a branch and all that thing, right? So it says it's clean. You don't have any changes right now with you. Now what I'm going to be saying, right, I would like to create a new branch. You remember we were telling earlier we have original branch and from that we create a new branch. So what I'm going to be doing here is, I'll say git check out. I would like to check out, okay, dash b branch. What is the name of the branch? I'll just say task one. Task one is my branch, consider that task one is my branch, and I'd say enter. Now what happened? You see here it says switched to a new branch. Task one, it switched to a new branch. Now if I do git status, you see on branch task one. Now it is not telling me that it is branch main. It is on the task one. It is on the task one branch and not in the main branch. Everyone clear till here? Anyone has any doubt? I hope not. Okay. Now I would like to add a new file. In my project one, I would like to add a new file. Just come here, say new text. I'll just call it as first file .txt, and I'll just say within this is my first file, and I will save this. I did save. Okay, now something we will see. Same command, git status. Yes, Rahul, task one is a new branch, correct. Now when we say git status give us the status, right? So if I again do git status and enter, see it is telling me something. Can you read it here? It says untracked files, git add to include in what will be committed. It says it has find one file which git is not tracking. Again, git is a version control system which track the things what are happening, and git find out when I did git status, git told me that there is this new file which came up, first file.txt, which git does not know about. So git is saying if you want me to track this file, then you do git add and the file name, so that I can track it, so that I can track it. Everyone clear till here? Anyone has any doubt? Okay. Now what I'm going to be doing, I want to add this. This is a simple English only, na? Harsh. That, see, it's simple, right? You say git add. I would like to add what? The file name. First file.txt. It's simple English only, na? Git. And now once you did this, git add and you gave the file name. Now again, let's do git status. Now, see what is it? Now git knows that this is actually a new file. This is a new file which you are adding. This is not an existing file. It is not a file which we had earlier. This is a new file which you have created. Now, what if we make a change to the existing file which we already had? This is the readme md file which we already had. Let's just come here, make a change in this. Okay, I'll just open it in Visual Studio Code. And here I'll just say project one, first, I'll just say some change. Okay, and I'll save this. Your version control system is very smart. See, now if I do git status again, what this guy is telling, it is telling me this one is a new file, first file is a new file, and readme md is a file which you have modified. You're getting what I'm saying? Everyone, do you see how intelligent the git is? Right? Now, all good. This is good. That means git knows about all these things. Now, what git says, if you want these files, right? What you need to do, right? So git add I have done here. See, again it is, see, git add I did here. So it is coming in the green. You see it is coming in the green. This modify is coming in red. And on the top of red it says git add this file to update what will be committed. You have to again add the file. So if at all, say you already have an existing file, if at all you are making any changes and you want those changes to go, you want those changes to move forward, in that case you again have to do git add. And in case you have multiple files, consider, let's say I also have another file, I'll call it as second file. Okay, and if I again do git status, you see it is telling me red. That means I am not, this file is not tracked, right? And this file is not. See, one thing you see here, right? It says changes not staged for commit. Commit means, that means you are moving your changes to the repository. Commit means you are moving your changes to the repository. Commit means, again, you're moving your changes to the repository. It says if you want to move your changes to the repository, if you want to move your changes to the repository, what you need to do, you have to do stage which says git add. You have to add those changes. Whatever the changes you would like to make, you have to first add those. Earlier I added only first file.txt. Okay, now if I need to move these two files, there are two options. One is I'll say git add and I will say readme.md, then I'll say git add second file.txt. That is one thing which I could do. Or I could just say git add dot. If I say add dot, what it will do, it will take both the files. It will take both the files. Okay, and enter. And let's see the git status now. What is it telling out now? It says new file modified, and this is a new file. All is green. Now there is one more thing. So usually how Git works, right? You have a file. What Git says, you have to use git add to stage the file. Stage the file in the sense, put it in one place. Stage, we are doing it in this stage. So we'll be just ready to commit it. We will commit it. We will move it. So first, you always have to stage the file. Now, what if say suppose you have staged the file? You have staged this file, new file, or say you have staged this modified file, which you thought you may want to commit. You may want to commit, but now you don't want to commit for whatever reason. So in that case, you have to unstage the file. If you want to unstage the file, you will use command this git restore. See, it is telling me the command also git restore hyphen hyphen staged and the file name, which is what readme dot md, and enter. So what happened now? If I do git status again, you will see this file is moved from green to red. Okay, everyone? And only the files which are being staged will get committed. Okay, now what if say I would like to commit this? I would like to commit this. Okay, now what is commit? That means I will finalize my change. Okay, now I'll say git commit. Git commit is the command. Git commit and then dash m, and in double quotes you have to give message. So basically whatever the change you do, right, you describe what you have done. So for example, in a project you made a change, right? How will I know what change you have done? Obviously there are files which I can see, but if you write what you have done, it will be easier for me to understand what you did, right? So I'll just say added first and second file. So obviously somebody who will read this message will understand that you have added a file, right? So I will just say git commit dash m and do enter. See what it says. Added first and second file. Okay. And it says two changes has been done and one insertion has been done. Okay. That is being done. Now again, I'll do git status. Now in my git status, see those green files are gone because those files are committed. Those files are committed. So I'm only seeing the readme md, which I did not commit because I did not stage it. Earlier I staged it, but I then unstaged it. Okay. I hope everyone is clear till here. Anyone has any doubt? No one is having any doubt. Okay. Now, okay. Now one thing you see, right? All these changes, that means this commit, whatever we did, you see, all those changes are not being made here. Can you see here? We still have only main file here. We have only main, correct? We have only main here. It is still not moved to the place. So whatever that commit and everything which we did it in our local system, correct? And I can see that also. There is a command called git log, which tells you what all things you have done. So if I say git log and enter, it is telling me that here, see, it is telling me who was the author. It is telling that Neeraj Sharma 2592. He did the change. Friday, March itne itne baje. And this is what the message was, initial commit. This was the initial commit which I did first time. Then this is the commit which I did again. Added first and second file. So every change which you are doing is considered as a commit. Again, you can do it, Pushkar. It doesn't matter. Again, so again, that's going to be a different commit. Different commit. So you made a change to one file and commit it, right? Again, say you want to make a change to the same file. So that will be a second commit. Okay, it will be a second entry. Now what I want to do is I want to move these changes. I want to move these changes to my remote repository. Now what I will do, see, I'll say git push. When I say git push, that means take my changes. You take my changes. Okay, and I say enter. Now see what has happened. Some error is coming. It says current branch task one has no upstream branch. What does it mean? That there is no branch which is being created in the remote for this. Correct? Because here we created the branch. We did not create the branch there. You remember? Here we did not create the branch. We created the branch in the local system. We did not create the branch in the this system. Okay, clear everyone? Now what it is telling, if you want to do that, you have to use this command. So I'll just copy this command. Okay, copy this command, put it here. I said git push hyphen hyphen set up stream origin task 1 and enter. In your case, what may happen that you may get a pop-up to give your username and password. Because I have already given it, it is not coming. For you it may come. Okay, now it is being done. Now you see what will happen. If I refresh this, you will see it says 2 branches now. And if I click on main, you see there is main branch which is having only readme md file, and then there is this task 1 which is having first file and readme md file and the second file. Clear? Anyone has any doubt? So Piyush, when you say stage, you basically make the things ready to be committed. You say stage these things. I'm gonna be moving these things. And when you say commit, you're basically taking all that stuff and moving it further. Okay.